One of the most visited cities in the whole of the Tour de France's long history, Pau hosted the final mountain stage of this 108th race. Short in terms of distance, just under 130 kilometres, but packing a real punch in terms of climbing. Over 3,500 metres to be climbed, most of it in the final third. The mighty Tourmalet, perhaps the most famous mountain in the history of cycling, before a finish for the 9th time at Luz Ardiden. Plenty of hairpins to the top of the ski station, some tough gradients as well. The last test in the mountains before 3 days approaching the finale in Paris. Unsure of what to expect at the start, Tadej Mohoric went out on the attack. He'd be joined by two other riders before Julien Alaphilippe and Pierre-Luc Perrichon also tried to get across. The gap was never really allowed to grow though. Behind, Mark Cavendish had a very good start of the day. Yet more points to extend his lead in the green jersey competition. And as they approached the halfway stage, he was still in the main bunch. That all changed on the first slopes of the Tourmalet, however, and counterattacks from the main bunch began. David Gaudu was piloted up to the front by Valentin Madouas. The King of the Mountains would be played out as well. Woods and Pools trying their best to pick up points over the top, but it would be Latour and Gaudu who'd go over first. 35 kilometres to go from the top of the Tourmalet. And the first big decision in the GC was made approaching it. Rigoberto Urán dropped and dropping out of the top 5 overall. David Gaudu would open a wonderful gap on Pierre Latour, who'd be caught by those chasing. Almost a minute opened up on the descent, but when we got to the final climb, Gaudu would just be hanging out in front before eventually being reeled in by the Ineos Grenadiers, looking for their first bit of success of this tour. Pools hanging on at the back. He'd be hoping that Tadej Pogačar wouldn't take his jersey off him, but Pogačar wanted to win again. 2-stage victories so far. Rafał Majka took up the pace in the final few kilometres. Van Aert and company dropped, and once Majka was done, Pogačar again made his move. Once more, the top 3 in the race were the strongest on the climbs. Vingegaard following. Also there was Carapaz. He was in 3rd place in the GC. Sepp Kuss did his best to try and set things up for Vingegaard, and Enric Mas was having one of his better days. Mas tried to take advantage and continue the long run of Spanish victories at Luz Ardiden. 5 of the previous 8 finishes had been won by his compatriots. Pogačar was having none of that, however. He set off in search past the man from Mallorca, and in the final few hundred metres, nobody would get even into the slipstream of the Slovenian. Carapaz and Vingegaard giving their best, but rode behind Pogačar, and the only open road in front was between him and the finish line. 3rd stage win at this race, 2nd in a row, and Pogačar with an unassailable lead seemingly in the general classification. 2nd to Vingegaard, 3rd to Carapaz. That's how it lies as well in the general classification. Mas on the stage finishing in 4th and moving up in the GC too. It will be another day where they came in behind in 1s and 2s. Ben O'Connor moving up in the GC after a good day. But Tadej Pogačar winning by 2 seconds. Bonus seconds going to Vingegaard and Carapaz as well. And Vingegaard moving further ahead of Carapaz. Still though with a narrow lead in the GC in 2nd place. Not a good day for Rigoberto Urán. He lost 9 minutes to the winner. The winner on the day, and again in the yellow jersey, Tadej Pogačar, dominating the world of pro cycling, dominating this tour. 5:45 now ahead of Vingegaard, who's 6 seconds ahead of Carapaz. O'Connor to 4th, Kelderman into 5th, and Urán dropping from 4th to 10th. The mountains are done, but the tour isn't finished quite yet. Stage 19 looks to be one for either a breakaway or even a sprint finish. It's a long stage too. 207 kilometres directly north into the region around Bordeaux and finishing in Libourne. The GC looks finished, but there's always drama around the corner at this Tour de France. 3 days to go to Paris. What's going to happen next?